Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing 1997 Finnish Grand Prix Kevin Levrone and 2013 Phil Heath. These two are considered two of their best versions, and having them side by side posing in video should make for a very fun comparison, regardless of the video quality. Speaking of the video quality, since the footage isn't ever going to be as clear as HD photos, this comparison is going to be less of a serious one and more so of a fun one. Now, before the video does start, a like and sub would really help out the channel and be much appreciated on my end. With that all being said though, let's get into this video. Starting off this video with the first pose, the front double, we can see that both bring very unique packages to the stage. Kevin has nice, clean lines and a streamlined flow, great cuts in the quads and midsection, and very competitive size. On the other hand, Phil has tremendous size, not as good flow, but superior overall conditioning, especially in the arms. The size disparity is extremely noticeable between these two, especially when comparing the lats, calves, and quads, and the forearms. When it comes down to proportions and flow, I'd say that Kevin's wider clavicles, more aesthetic lines, and overall presentation do fit the bill. That being said, Phil's undeniable advantage in the arms, quads, lats, forearms, and calves, not to mention the conditioning as well, are too much for Kevin to handle. The front lat spread should be a take-home pose for Kevin due to his superior structure that is more well-suited for this pose. He has those wide clavicles, a small, more detailed waist, and great shape overall. Surprisingly, Phil looks pretty decent, presenting better lats, similar arms, rounder delts, a fuller chest, and clearly more quad sweep. While he may have an advantage if we look at each individual muscle, Kevin's total package is just better. He isn't too far behind in conditioning either, really only falling short in quad sweep and forearms. He might not be as full, bubbly, or round as Phil, but Kevin is pieced together perfectly and flows extremely well, so therefore I would give him the win. Moving to the side, we have the side chest, and this is actually a very competitive pose when looking at their upper halves. Both have similar qualities of fullness in the arms, delt, and chest, however the lower bodies aren't even close. Phil definitely smokes Kevin in detail, size, and conditioning of the side leg, as his looks twice as large as Kevin's. Upper bodies are so close though, with Kevin having the edge in shape and aesthetics, especially in the midsection, while Phil has more size, fullness, but a bit less of a tight midsection. While their upper halves are close, objectively Phil's lower body obliterates Kevin's, and his upper body is just flat out better from a modern day judging perspective, so I would probably give him the win. That being said, I do prefer Kevin's overall package and would take that physique 9 out of 10 times. The rear double is a pose where Phil killed his competition and won 7 Olympia titles, and here it's really no exception. As much as I like Kevin, he falls behind by a lot in the quad and hamstring size from behind, and doesn't have the same conditioning and detail in the glutes. His calves do look pretty good though, however the lower body is a done deal for Phil. The back might just be a done deal for Phil as well, as he smokes Kevin in the lower back and has a more pronounced V-taper and tremendous detail and density. Their arms and delts are virtually the same, as both have some ridiculously large and full arms and shoulders. While Kevin does look pretty great relative to himself, Phil is just on another level, possessing a top 3 back of all time and ridiculous lower body conditioning and size. The rear lat spread is definitely a closer pose than the last one, as Kevin has greater width, similar density in the mid-back and traps, and very solid detail. Phil is a bit denser and detailed, however his lack of width is glaring compared to Kevin. The lower body is basically the same story as the last pose, with Kevin falling short in almost every area, so objectively Phil should win the pose. He has ridiculous outer quad sweep, hamstring, and glute size, and a great back and superb conditioning overall, while Kevin really only has the width as an advantage. That being said, let me know down below who would you prefer in this pose and who would you prefer to look like. Here's the side tricep, a very good pose, a stellar one at that for both competitors. Kevin has that extremely cut, separated, and streamlined midsection, a great chest, huge tricep, and round delt, with great overall flow to match. Phil, like in the side chest, has a superior side leg once again, a comparably sized tricep with additional feathering and detail, an extremely full chest and delt, but worse posing execution, and a less flush and tight midsection. Although Kevin may not be as conditioned as Phil or as objectively muscular, especially in that side leg, his overall aesthetics are just too good and he doesn't fall short in conditioning or size by a lot. While some of you may prefer Phil in this shot, I'm definitely going to go with Kevin for his shape and aesthetics. The Aban Thigh is just one of those poses in which Phil never quite looked right in, and to a certain extent the same can be said about Kevin. While neither ever had the best Aban Thigh out there, Kevin certainly looks the best out of the two. While his obliques may spill out a little bit on the sides, he has a smaller midsection and a better V-taper thanks to those flaring lats and wider structure, superior ab muscles and symmetry, and great cuts in the quads. Phil obviously has an edge in the quads once again, especially in the size. However, his narrower structure doesn't afford him the same V-taper, and his unaesthetic abs are super unsymmetrical and are really just not pleasing to look at. Just compare the V-tapers alone and it should be clear as to who is winning the pose. Kevin utterly smokes him in that area while not falling behind in really any other area. The last pose of this comparison, the most muscular, is a very signature pose for these two. Many comparisons have been drawn between them as they share similarities in shape, size, and overall flow of the delts, arms, and chest. Immediately, it is apparent that Phil has the upper hand in fullness, especially in the arms, chest, and quads. However, this also causes his midsection to appear less controlled and tight. Kevin, while not as full, has super round delts, great arms, and a tight midsection, solid quads, and a decent chest. In terms of an objective standpoint, I'd say that Phil wins more individual muscles, is fuller overall, and presents equal shape, so I'd have him for the win. From an aesthetic standpoint though, Kevin has better lines and proportions while presenting similar size and shape. Both are great in their own regard, however, I'd probably go with Phil, but Kevin's great as well, so do take your pick down below. I'll leave it up to you guys. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. While Kevin didn't win this comparison, he did put up a very solid fight against arguably the best version of Phil Heath. Phil was just too full, conditioned, and developed, especially from behind in the legs, and dominated Kevin in every shot where his narrowness or midsection weren't a factor. That being said, both did present very similar physiques, especially in that most muscular or the side chest, and were both really good competitors in their day. Now, with that all being said, I hope you all did enjoy this video. Let me know down below if you'd like to see any other comparisons in the future, and I'll see you all in the next one, and like always, thanks for watching.